Well, welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining our webinar. As I'm sure you're aware, we're going to be covering off how to run your firm and on a very key point on your data using Cloudify and Form. So my name's Wayne Pollock. I'm one of the founding partners of Cloudify Legal, and I've got Stuart Flint, also one of the directors here at Cloudify. Before I get into it, I'd just like to quickly say many thanks to Rose, who has been putting all these webinars together, and they do a great job. So thanks, Rose. Today we're going to cover off effectively 8 topics. It's going to take us about 30 minutes. There will be some time at the end for some questions if anyone has any. Just suggest if you put your questions into the chat as we go through, we can make sure we cover those at the end. There's 8 points that we really want to cover. Basically, they're quite quick points, but before we get into a demo, and then right at the end, we're going to take a look at how you can go and trial Cloudify and Form. And then I think it's a key question that most people will want to know is how much does it cost? So if we just start off with a very first topic. There we go. What is Cloudify and Form? One of the word or a phrase that gets bantered around in the computing industry is business intelligence, and some people understand what that is and some don't. So very quickly, business intelligence is a way of using a tool set that actually provides rich graphical reporting and dashboards and KPI and metrics, etc., that tell you really what's going on in your business. So Cloudify and Form in itself transforms your Actionstep data into this rich graphical information. And the bottom line, what that actually means to everyone is that you can make better data-driven decisions. So that's what Cloudify and Form is. In terms of who is Cloudify and Form for, basically, everyone in the law firm gets some value from the owners of the business who want to understand how their business is performing, probably more on the financial metrics, but nonetheless, they'll want to understand how their management's performing, how their fee earners are performing, and equally, all the way down on the fee earner end, fee earners want to know how they're performing. So on top of that, anyone in the business is probably going to be asking questions like what is or how many, and those sorts of questions really is the data discovery where you can get in, understand what's going on in the business and get informed decision making going on. So there's 4 key areas that Cloudify can help in. And I'm not covering all the reports or metrics or dashboards here. These are just a handful of them. But when we look at these 4 key areas, we really are looking from different perspectives. So you've got a firm view, so looking right across your business, looking at a team or an office-based view, and then, as I've mentioned in the past slide, down at the individual level. So the 4 areas, operationally, all your standard metrics to run a law firm, and some. So, what's our WIP, what's our recovery or utilization, excuse me, how many matters, etc., that we have that are closed, open, dormant, etc. And then, of course, there's financial information. What are our fees billed, today, yesterday, to the week, the month, the year, and comparing it against years, etc. And then things like profitability. And quite surprising to us, we've had quite a few inquiries from our client base that want to understand how they can profit share, calculate bonuses, etc. So again, the data is available, so we're able to do some pretty cool things, helping make that a very, very simple reporting and KPI set of metrics. The third area there is the sales and marketing. So we've got clients that use the Cloudify Legal prospect matter types, and they're able to actually report on the prospect client journey. So where do these prospects come from? What successful channels are our marketing is generating for us, and how are we converting those, and why are we not converting those? So just again, using data to understand what's going on in your business. And then the fourth area really is the ability to take data from other software applications that many law firms use these days. Bring that in and merge it in with your Actionstep data, and again, give great, rich reporting capabilities in and around your data sets. So at this stage, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Stuart, who's going to take us through using Cloudify Inform and give you a demo. Stuart.
Yes, thanks, Wayne. So I'm getting a little echo, so hopefully that goes away. Before I show you the demo, what I really want to do is I can show you the charts, I can show you the information, but really I first want to say, okay, well, how are firms actually using Cloudify Inform? One UK firm is using it, especially around underbilling. So understanding where non-billable hours are occurring, and that's prompted them to actually enhance training of staff so that they can really make sure that billable activities are billed and protecting that revenue. We've also, as Wayne said, had a lot of interest in that bonus side of things, and we've had a Queensland firm who's automated through Cloudify Inform. We've been able to automate their calculation of bonuses, and that not only has saved them days of work every month in that quite complex process, but it's actually ensured fairness and accuracy in that calculation. A firm in Melbourne has really looked to get a better understanding of write-downs and write-ups of WIP, and another Australia firm has actually delivered Cloudify Inform to its franchisees. So we've been able to give each franchise owner their own report that is only on their franchise, whereas head office is able to see the reporting across all franchises. As Wayne mentioned, we've developed a prospect and sales funnel reporting that directly links to our prospect matters. The firm in the UK that first used that, that has really allowed them to divert resources between managing those prospects. And finally, we've had a New Zealand law firm that's wanted one page, the main stats that they care about, all on one page for staff to come to first thing in the morning and see where they're up to. So there's some of the use cases. If I move forward, I'd love to read all of the references that we've had, the testimonials we've had. Here are some. We've had some really good feedback, and this slide deck will be going out. So feel free to read what some of our existing clients think of Cloudify Inform. Right, so now on with the demo. I will start sharing my screen, and we have a navigation and firm dashboard. I'm going to come to those later on. I'm going to start with a very typical page of Cloudify Inform and show you the key components. So firstly, we have a quite flexible date selector. So right now it will default to the prior month. So we get to see our fees billed for January, but this is a very flexible selector. So I can change this to be this month to date very easily. I can also select whatever custom period I want. So if I want to know from the 6th to the 9th, then that's very easy for me to do. We have a lot built in here: last 7 days, last 30 days. We have weeks, we have months, we have quarters, we have years, and we have something quite fancy where you can do calculations. So we might say, okay, up to today, but we want to know 3 quarters ago. So you might have a custom period like that you want to look at. So I'm just going to select the last month, but those selections are impacting all the charts on this table, apart from this historical chart at the bottom. So whereas we're cutting the data into the specific time period we care about, we still want to see that metric across the whole entire history that we have in Actionstep. And then we see that number broken down at the firm level, but then by team, by service, by fee earner. And when we say team, there are a few options here, and Wayne mentioned it. You have the flexibility to, what do you mean by team? What do you want to look at? We have this split by roles, so you could have director, partner as one team, lawyers as another team, and paralegals, support staff as a third team. You could do it by organizational hierarchy. So, these people report into this person, these people report into this person. And we have other firms that base it on location. So you can imagine these teams being, the 3 locations that you operate out of. Everything on this page, when I click, it filters. So if I click family, I now get just the family team and the work that they've been doing. They've been doing work primarily on family law, as you'd expect, but they've done a little bit of private client work. I can see the split of those fee earners within the family team, and I now can see the family team's fees build over time. And that works the same for service. Now, service is a grouping of matter types. Often law firms that use Actionstep may have 5 matter types that they primarily use, or it might be 10, 20, 30, however many it is. What we do is we group it into what we call service, and then we get that grouping of matter types so that we can have a very simple way of selecting between different services. So if I want to look at family law only, you can see only the family law team, only the family team are doing that, but I can see the work specifically on family law matters. And then finally, that all comes together. These are very high level metrics, and they're metrics that have been calculated from raw data. And we provide that raw data within Cloudify Inform. Cloudify Inform doesn't just give you a number and go, well, there's the number. You can go down and understand that number, how the individual invoices, the individual matters that make that up. And this league table on this right-hand side with client is breaking down the fees by different clients. And so, for example, I can click on the client and say, for this specific client, what fees have been billed over time, which teams have done that work, what services are they for, what fee earners were doing that work. And we can drill down further. If we've made a selection like this and drill down, then we now are getting all of the matters for that client. So if you click on this underlined matter, it has the matter ID as well as the matter name. This will take you directly to Actionstep. And also, if I don't select anything and drill down, then I'm now getting all of the invoices relating to all of those matters. So if I come up a level and select a certain matter, and drill down, then I only get the invoices associated to that matter. And again, I can click on that and go into the invoice within Actionstep. So that's how our drill down works, being able to see things at client level, matter level, and how the report is interactive and allows you to see what you need to see, depending on the numbers that are actually being produced. Additionally, linked to that, we have in the data section a fee earners data page where this is all of the raw data. And so what we would normally do is work with clients in the trial phase to actually understand what they're looking to see, how it compares with existing reporting they have. And so there might be a situation where somebody says, okay, well, I'm not getting the same number as you for Andrew Little. And we then are able to show, okay, we get $17,945 with these specific matters, specific invoices. And we actually have that ability to then give that client comfort that they can click on the invoice and see directly $375 allocated to Andrew Little on that invoice. And so there really is visibility over the high level numbers by showing the individual line items that make up those values. So that's the fees build page. I've talked about the functionality within that. We have similar pages, very similar pages on certain subjects. If you wanted to look at fees when they were paid and allocated to fee earners rather than fees based off fees billed, and when the fees were actually billed, you can do that too. We have KPI reporting. Excuse me. Now, the KPI reporting directly utilizes Actionstep's ability in the accounting module to actually enter KPIs. And so we find that by us actually providing this graphical KPI reporting, that then encourages firms to actually then start using those that data entry facility in Actionstep to actually record KPIs, because the firm will directly get the output within Cloudify and Form. We have reports on WIP, on recovery rate. We have reports on payments and account receivables. And I don't want to go into every page because it would take too long. There is a demo on our website that you can play with. We hope you'll request a trial so that instead of playing with a demo, you're playing with your real data and your firm data and getting insights from your firm during the trial. We have pages on work conducted, so understanding the hours spent on billable matters, for example. And as I was speaking about before, we've encouraged firms to look at non-billable hours. And for some firms, it may be a case of going, well, looking down at those non-billable hours and actually going, no, that's fine. That makes complete sense. But what we want to try and do is give that visibility so that you understand as a firm, why are certain things not being billed? And as I mentioned before, you can then do staff training to actually understand why. And so in a similar way, we can drill down here into specific work that's being done. And you can see here that because quick codes are being used, that attending others, 0.8 of it has been billed, 7 hours of it hasn't during this period that we're looking at. And so you can see the certain activities that maybe should have been billed and understand why that's the case and verify it. We have pages on utilization. So what proportion of hours spent on a client is billable, and effective rate, which is based off client hours. What is the return? What are we billing for each hour that we serve a client? Quickly, I'm going to talk that we have client reporting so that you can pick up a specific client, see the matters that relate to that client, understand how much is outstanding for that client, the WIP, the effective rate that you've had for that client. So obviously this is a bigger client. You can see that the effective hourly rate is a little lower than average. And you can specifically see the remaining outstandings by quarter. Last report I'm going to show before going to the navigation and the firm dashboard, new matters over time. We can see that by month so that you can see seasonal patterns. So right now our January number is way ahead of what we've had in prior years. And then we can see over time, over this year, how we go against prior years so that we have context there. A lot of time people will say things like, well, September is always lower or July is always higher. And now this really shows that data very well. I said I wasn't going to show any more. I will just briefly mention this is the section that directly gets data from our prospect matters. So if you have Cloudify Legal's prospect matters, then you start using them, and using them for managing prospects, then you will directly in Cloudify Inform get sales reporting out of it. So there's some really good pages here around improving data quality in utilizing those matters, as well as actually understanding and helping you manage that. Finally, the navigation page is just a welcome, just where you end up starting. It does have a link to our YouTube channel, and does have a link to Actionstep in the bottom right corner. It also tells you the last time the data was updated, and it just gives a high level view of the main sections within the report. The firm dashboard is I guess an amalgamation of the key metrics that are in the rest of the report. We at the moment do this out of the box on current month and last month, but we can adjust this to be whatever a firm needs it to be. So if a firm's not recording hours in Actionstep, then we would take the hours bits out and we'd put other fields in. If a firm cares about that, they want it to be quarterly based, we can do that too. So this is quite flexible in terms of what we show here, but this is what you get out of the box. And this is a firm dashboard, but very quickly it can convert into a team dashboard. So now this is the family team dashboard. And you can see all of the metrics have changed in relation to that family team. Additionally, with fee earners, is you can I might take that out, and so we can see all the fee earners. You could actually then select a certain fee earner, and then you get the metrics for that fee earner. It becomes the dashboard for that person. The same thing is true where you can actually then also look at the service as well. So if you only wanted to look at family matters, you could as well. That's probably where I'm going to leave it. I'm just checking the chat. There's been no specific questions on that. Hopefully that gives you a run through of the functionality as well as our approach. A lot of what we can do, and I'll just put the slide deck back up. A lot of what we can do in the reporting utilizes what we have out of the box as a foundation. So often firms will say, we actually like it like this because we have this exact reporting that we need to provide management or auditors or things or people like that. And so we can very quickly just customize, make a quick customization to say, okay, well let's give you the data in that format so that meets your internal needs. Moving forward, how can you trial Inform? I was waiting for the button to appear. So you can request a free trial through our website and through the button that's there. The way the process works is you fill in that form. We help you set up the access that we need to in order to access your Actionstep data, and then within about 48 hours, it can sometimes be quicker, we will send you the link to your trial report. We will also send you a vidyard with myself talking through that report. So very similar to what I've done just now, but instead of talking about the demo company, actually talking about your figures and what I'm seeing in that data. Then the next stage would be that we meet to answer any questions that come out of the vidyard and the initial playing with Cloudify Inform. And then we leave you to trial the full report and make a decision about whether it's something that you want to go forward with. in that meeting, in stage 4, in that meeting, we'll also work through any slight tweaks or customization that you are looking for, especially in regard to sort of the 1 or 2 key reports that you as a firm are looking to achieve. And moving forward into pricing, so we've tried to make pricing as simple as possible. We have a monthly subscription. We have no setup fees. So we offer that try before you buy. So we're setting it up for free. We're providing it to you as a trial, and then to carry on, there's a monthly subscription. Within that setup, we've said we will give 3 hours of customization work for free. Now, 3 hours doesn't mean much to many people, because what can you achieve in 3 hours? Well, typically we can get those 1 or 2 key reports done within that time that will help you get what you need from Cloudify and Form. So that's how the pricing works for the product. And we've reached the end of the deck, and Wayne likes to say, let's explore. And part of that is, this is our solution. This is our solution that we're bringing because we believe that all law firms deserve business intelligence. But we know that every law firm is different too, and you have your own specific needs and requirements. And so we're always happy to explore opportunities or things we can do to help bring value to your business. I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions that you want us to talk about, you can post them in the chat. In the meantime, Wayne, is there any areas that you think that I should touch on more, or?
No, Stuart, I think you've done a great job here. The real reality is, I hear lots of people talking about data is the new oil. So, running a business blind won't lead to maximizing profits and efficiency. So I think there's a golden opportunity for law firms to truly understand what's happening in their business, drive that efficiency, drive that profitability, and reap the benefits from it. So we'd be happy to explore. We're pretty passionate about this sort of stuff. So there's nothing to lose. Give us a call, and we can help you move forward. So thanks, Stuart, and thanks for everyone for attending the webinar. Look forward to chatting or exploring.